Okay, there are two reasons you might be watching this. One, you just finished Ergo Proxy and want to know what the fuck you just watched. Or two, you watched it before and didn't really understand it and now you're here for answers. Or three, you just stumbled on this video and you're like, well, you're just here to know what's up. Either way, after rewatching Ergo Proxy and researching on it a bit, I believe I figured out what its underlying story is and the message it was trying to send across. But hey, I could be wrong some other way or another. So let me know in the comments if you think I'm making sense or not. Without taking much time, let's get to it. To fully understand Ergo Proxy, I'll try my best to break things down to simple, understandable bits, starting with the story, characters, and possibly underlying philosophy it subtly jabs at or talks about. Before we go further, a disclaimer: Ergo Proxy is a philosophically heavy anime. I doubt I'll be able to go into full detail about most of what it entails, but I'll do my best to. It's the 21st century, and humans, after utilizing the fossil fuels on Earth, decide to switch to a more reliable source of energy. That is, the methane hydrate reserves left underneath the Earth's deep sea sediments and permafrost. Now, a bit of chemistry for background knowledge. This is one gas that our Earth, has in abundance and it can be used as fuel, but improper extraction and too much of it released into the atmosphere can cause an abrupt global warming or sudden heat, too much heat basically, which can lead to our extinction or Earth drying up like a yam that has been air fried for too long. Anyway, that's the mistake that was made in this case. And as expected, things started to go shit. But before it was completely bad, they decided to run away from Earth in space for 100 years till it got better. Basically, Project Boomerang Star, that's what they call it, but they were never able to complete the project. The project ended up being a failure, only being able to carry a few people into space. So they came up with the Proxy project. Proxy being a bioengineered immortal being in charge of creating and sustaining life in the dome, are often referred to as gods in their dome, but that's by the side. Proxies refer to the human beings who created them as creators. In efforts to preserve life, they created proxies, about 300 in number, collected samples of human DNA in a rush as the earth was about to be dried up and most of them were about to die, and assigned the proxies to the task of preserving human life inside domes till the earth was better to return to. Time passed, the humans left on earth died, and proxies did what they were told to by manufacturing humans based on the faulty DNA samples collected in a rush to leave earth. As a result, the humans created lacked the inability to reproduce, causing the need to always have to reproduce them. They also created a functioning society that relied heavily on AI robots called autoraves. They reigned and ruled as gods in their respective domes, but at the cost of being forever alone. For if one becomes a god, an omnipotent, who can stand as his rival or friend against the curse to be discarded after preserving the failed experiments or humans till the appointed time of arrival of the creators. So basically, most of them were lonely, and that's why in the anime you could see that most proxies just tend to want to just either kill themselves or just find something to do that's fun. But most of them were lonely and basically just wanted to die. Now, the rest is as the anime goes, with Vincent Law going on a journey to get his memory real, chasing him down to understand what a proxy is. Pino following Vincent and she gains an ego to see the world. And Raw, the chief security officer, security bureau, trying to capture Vincent to prove he's a model citizen. Each of these characters go through their own unique journey during the show, which helps them arrive as their own truth. Now, let's do a somewhat character analysis on some of these characters to understand them on a deeper level in a way to understand the series more better. Okay, Pino. She is an auto that suddenly gained an ego, that is a sense of self, after getting infected by the cogito virus, which in another word you can put it as I think, therefore I am. It was coined from the word, I think it's a French, I think it's a French word or so, or it's a combination of a couple of words, but it's a French word, I believe, which translates directly into I think, therefore I am. This also implies to the name Ego Proxy too. So yeah, um, what I feel her character symbolizes is the inner child who dwells within us all, and like us during our childhood, one day just became self-conscious out of the blues. And from then on, we began learning about ourselves, what we may like or not like, feeling and trying to understand emotions or others around us, what they may feel, and actually experiencing the world and establishing a sense of self as we go on our separate journey or just playing around and doing random shit. Raul Creed. Although he's the head of the security bureau and actively tries to pursue Vincent in order to keep order in Romdo, I see him as a person with strong convictions who tries his best to achieve his goals, even when those goals were built on lies taught to him ever since he was a child or birthed or created. He represents the part of us that strives to do what it takes to uphold the set rules of society that has been created and to be followed, even if it seems irrational at some point. Well, his character wasn't as deep as the rest of the other characters, but I see him as an important character that portrays a certain aspect of human behaviors. But anyway, moving on. Real Maya, or Real. Although a moral citizen like Raw Creed that strives to help the society through her job, she can be seen as the type of person who likes to uncover the truth that are hidden in plain sight or would go to any length to find it. She can also be seen as our inquisitive nature of wanting to know the truth of a matter we feel or perceive may be wrong, or in other words, to know the real truth. She also looks like the lead singer in Effervescence, and I feel like that was pretty obvious. That's just by the way, anyway. And now Vincent Law, a man who also strives to be a model citizen but fails at it miserably. One could say he is the outcast of this society, the type that tries and tries again but does not seem to fit in whatever he does. He can be seen as the type of person that seems fragmented, like a person without a sense of knowing who they truly are or where to go in life. For if one does not integrate their shadow, acknowledge and accept it, one's self-awareness and fulfillment will be but shallow, constant reminders of their continuous failures. Now, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of things in this show that stems from something from something philosophical, like those statues that say things time to time, or let's say Daedalus as a character, the ball of yarn, the other reel held in her hand during the whole thing that was going on that time. That cave they found out one time when they were outside that they saw these creatures that looked all weird that couldn't come out of the cave because they got used to the chemicals in the cave. The death of the writer of the show himself, and many other things. To me, this is one of the most philosophical animes out there. They don't really make them as they used to, and I've never seen an anime put this much effort into trying to give you a very vague sense of the story with little dialogues and just little subtle signs here and there. So many things can be read into this anime, and I believe there are a lot of takeaways from this. But three main things that I noticed, which are also from the three main characters, are embrace the inner child within you. This is basically reconnecting with the sense of wonder, creativity, playfulness, and authenticity you had as a child. Allowing yourself to feel and express emotions freely, approaching life with curiosity and excitement. Failing to do so can result in emotional suppression, unresolved trauma, lack of creativity, and low self worth, which is a lot you can say from Pino, seeing as she just freely goes into life without thinking so much about it and just being happy generally. 2. Discover your own truth or the real truth. This is actively trying to find out the why, who, what, and where of things or beliefs for yourself, not relying entirely on words said by anybody. This can be specifically said for things like religion or popular beliefs, just like Rio that went out or chased after Vincent, trying to know the truth. She has been in Rome for all her lives. They told her things she believed in, never really believed in them. But this one thing she found the name of Proxy. She set out by herself to definitely find the truth of this. And in the end of the day, she found the truth, the actual truth. And well, that happened. 3. Go on a journey of self discovery. Now, this is very complicated, but let's dive into it, shall we? This is discovering yourself, and this can mean different things for so many people. Let's use the one shown in the anime from Vincent. According to Carl Jung, or using Carl Jung's work, the subconscious is divided into 3 parts: the self, that is the part that represents your wholeness; the animus / animal, which represents our opposite gender counterparts, or the opposite, us, our opposite gender, and those emotions and ways of thinking that arises from those opposite gender that we have within us. Like, let's say a guy having, like, say, a feminine side when he's emotional, or a feminine side of thinking, or something like that, and vice versa for females and all that. And the shadow, which is the 3rd part. This can be negative and positive, but this is always seen as negative because there's a lot of things about ourselves that we really try to hide. And this is the shadow, and without integrating that, there's a whole lot of things that gets forgetting, but we lose our sense of self, basically. So we see this all represented in Vincent during the run of the show, which explains why he's so confused and not knowing what's happening here and there, and why is even how he became to be Ergo Proxy, not knowing himself, Vincent, was just a delusion that was created by Ergo Proxy in order to forget what he has done and what he is and what he's supposed to be later on, when all the proxies are gone and left to face the creators so that they can meet their failed experiments. Integrating all these parts, which is the animus or animal, the shadow, and yourself into yourselves, can be seen as making yourself whole, or in another word, can lead to a greater sense of awareness, personal transformation, and fulfillment. We see this at the end of the show, and when Vincent finally accepts himself, defeats his shadow, which is technically Proxy 1, or him himself, accepting everything, and finally is at. Overall, the anime had a lot to unpack and interpret in your own way, but to be honest, not a lot of people have the time to look critically at it like I have, or research into it like I have. But I just looked up a few things up and just found a little bit of connection. But there was this one site that really helped me piece everything together. I'll leave it down in the description below if you want to really know how deep this goes. But anyway, this is me just trying to help you understand this underrated anime better, and maybe make you understand or discover yourself a little bit better than you have. Let me know your thoughts about Ergo Proxy in the comments below. I'm Joseph, and I'll see you all next time.